What's up guys, Woody here, back with another Mythgard video, and this one was requested, should I say, and it's a kind of reaction to the recent patch 1 point, I can't remember what it's called now. I'm not going to try and butcher the patch name, but there's the patch that's sort of big over the UI overall, the patch that dropped middle of November, the mid-season patch. We've had several patches before, but this was the big one coming in. It was balance changes, it was all sorts. So a couple of people asked for my reactions, my thoughts on the patch. So I've kind of been going over those for like the last couple of hours, just not like intensely, but kind of going through different bits. And the reason I wanted to do this, the reason I'm doing this, I suppose, a couple of days or like a week later after the patch, is because it gives me a chance to. I've played games now. I can see how new cards are operating, and yeah, so I can now kind of give my opinion on those cards, on those changes, on any balances that came into the game. And sorry, I'm just making notes there. And yeah, so that's where the video is going to go today. I'm going to aim to keep it around 20 minutes. That's the aim. I'm going to go over what I liked, what I didn't like, kind of overall the patch, and then we'll mostly focus on card changes because that's probably what most of you guys are interested in. So anyway, the patch brought one of the biggest notable changes as soon as you loaded the game up, which the patch was the UI. The UI, I don't want to say drastically changed because the actual layout didn't change much. The same background images depending on your faction. Challenge is the same, but these little panels here changed, and they just feel nicer. They feel cleaner. You got to play the whole UI around here feels a bit cleaner. I mean, I wouldn't say this is definitely like 10 steps in the right direction. I would feel here, but UI is something that comes with time. Like, I mean, I remember from old Gwent, when I played Gwent before to then Gwent Homecoming, the UI was like hugely different, and so many card games I've played have gone through so many iterations of UI, and UI is something that it's hard to get right. People like gaming companies, developers have UI developers because it's just getting it right is so important in so many games. And CCGs or TCGs, there's no different, okay? So, but this is definitely a step in the right direction, okay? Another thing that changed in this patch, so I will say there was tons of bug changes, there was tons of bug updates, there was tons of card. We're not going to go through all of them. I just want to clarify, I'm not going to go through every single change in this video because I don't need to, okay? But I will go through the highlights, in my opinion. Now, another one to change, another update to come was an extension on the Twitch extension. And this is insane. This blows my mind, this extension. And this is the fact that you can now export a deck. So let's say I'm playing on Twitch. You guys can literally export the deck I am playing through the Twitch extension. That is nuts. That blows my mind. That is, I mean, you could argue, some people out there probably going, oh, it makes net decking easier. Yeah, you're not lying. Okay, it makes net decking easier. But unfortunately, net decking is part of TCGs and CCGs. You don't like it, then you're probably playing the wrong genre. It happens, I'm afraid. Okay, it happens in any game. You play Dark Souls, people will go and watch YouTube about a build that they can make in Dark Souls to help them get through. Like, it's just the way it works, okay? People have plagiarized other people's content in games to make it easier. Not make it easier, you know what I mean? This isn't a video on net decking, but yeah, I think that is an incredibly good extension, especially for new players. New players who are jumping into the game and go, oh, what's this card they're playing? I'm going to rip the deck up, put it in there. Now that's my project. That's my end project. I want to be able to build that deck by 2 weeks' time, and that's what I done when I started playing the game, and it was a nice little carrot for me to kind of chase away at trying to get that. So that's a really good extension. Now, draft apparently had a huge overhaul. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a draft person. I've said this many times on stream. I like playing physical draft. I like sitting down when there's a pre-release of Magic the Gathering, or when I used to play Dragon Ball or Final Fantasy TCG. I like sitting down for a pre-release of those, and I like kind of having a couple of beers and playing a pre-release like at a local shop draft. I'm not a big fan of draft in digital forms. Nothing against it. It's just I've not dabbled in the new draft mode or arena mode. It's not for me. So please comment below if you're a draft player. And I was surprised how many people are like exclusively PvE or PvP draft players in the chat on Discord, on Twitch. If you haven't, please jump in chat below in comments below and just say, look, no, the draft's great. Like, I'd love to know. It's not going to make me go and play it. I like constructed. It's just, I'm afraid that's just the kind of person I am. But anyway, we also saw a new puzzle, and this puzzle had me absolutely stumped. I'm not kidding. So it was Navy Seagulls Recruiting Hall. there's a tick there now, but I'm going to be honest. My fucking God, it was hard. No, for me it was hard. Some people said it was really easy. Some people said they solved it in 30 seconds. Like, I'm going to be honest, it was probably looking at the screen for a good 20 minutes, just being like, I know there's a play here. I liked it how it was a case of you really had to understand the mechanics. And it fit into the theme. And what's even nicer is this is a community-created puzzle. Now, community-created puzzles are something that we're going to be seeing more of. I love Rhino, the developers, for doing this. They kind of just give trust to the community, which is something that's really big in TCGs and CCGs. In going, look, you guys are amazing. Like, they do the feature decks. That's a big element of trust. Go make the feature decks for us. You guys play the game 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Go make the feature deck for us. They're now starting to give that freedom to the puzzles, which is great. So, hats off to them. Puzzle was fun. It was good. It baffled me. I can't wait to see more. I love it. Every patch that comes, if there's a puzzle, or every like bigger patch that comes, there's a puzzle, it'll be freaking brilliant. I'd love it. But yeah, so that came into the game. There was an update to the GG little farm at the end where you get it now flashes. It flashes, basically going, don't be a douche, give a GG. Okay, they're playing Red Blue Rush. Maybe we don't GG that. Only joking. But no, in overall, just a flashing GG is great. It was so tame, for lack of a better term, tame last time. That was easy to miss. So that was a nice little update they had there. Like I said, tons of bug fixes. But that was kind of what I'm going to go over with the general stuff. Okay, that's my overall. It was nice UI, the new puzzle, all that stuff was good. It was. Rhino genuinely seemed to be like supporting the game an insane amount considering the size of their team, and every patch just brings in so much stuff to the game, and it's what an open beta is for. It's an open beta is there to kind of get the game ready for 1.0, to get the game ready of going, okay, not just what are our balance changes, what do you guys think to our UI, what do you think to our layout, what do you think to our format, what do you think to how constructive runs, what do you think to how draft runs, what do you think to how PvE runs. That's what it's for. And they are taking on so much community feedback. I'm putting in so much that I think I have to take a minute just to take my hat off to Rhino and say thank you for the support you're giving the game. It's absolute kudos to you guys. It's amazing. But let's go on to what you guys really want. The card changes. Before we jump into card changes, we're going to talk about some path changes. Just need a quick drink. Path changes. Now, there was one in text, but there's actually two. And one that slightly, not annoyed me, but I always found a bit weird. So the first one on text in black and white was Rainbow. Rainbow was seriously powerful, like previous meta. You get 7 starting life, which is a lot. Leprechaun's Coin, if you got the pursuit there, was pretty damn solid. Red Blue Rush was a thing. And I feel like the change I made, dropping it just down to 5 starting life, was a pretty legit like change. 2 starting life, people will go, oh yeah, it's only 2 life. I think it's fine. Like in competitive matches, like 2 life can be huge, can be absolutely massive. And I think that was a perfectly good balance they need to make. Added into the changes they made to some red and blue cards in that Red Blue Rush deck was perfect. Was all it needs to do. Too many companies, and I'm going to name call here, and I don't want to piss anyone off by doing this, but I came from the Gwent community. CDPR had a very big habit of going, this deck is being played the whole time. Let's make sure no one plays these cards from this deck ever again. And they nerf it so hard, it never gets played, okay? Cards like Sea Hill just never got played again. Unicorn and Cairo, I'm talking about Gwent cards, never got played again, okay? Now, the reason I'm using them as an example is Rhino didn't do that. They were like, no, we're not going to make this pathway unplayable. Like, we're not going to go, oh yeah, you get no Leprechaun's Coin and you get 4 starting life. No one plays it. No one plays it. And that's not what you want. That's not good game design. It's a case going, you know what? Let's just take this a little bit off and see how that affects it, okay? And I think it's done a really good job. Playing enchantment decks now is also variety in terms of the actual card changes they made. But let's go on to the card changes. Oh, sorry, no, before we go to card changes, the other one was Turn of Seasons. Now, here's where it confused me. You're now playing on the same season. So it used to be pre-patch. And I don't know, because I've not seen anything about this. I've not seen anything in patch notes. But pre-patch, you used to have, if you was on Pursuit, you had the extra starting life because you would start on spring, so you went to summer. So then you were drawing 2 cards in 2 turns' time. And then you started on winter if you were playing first. So you were effectively behind on card draw, in terms of you were a turn behind on getting your 2 cards. So when you're playing against some decks, like burning their hand down quickly was an easier option if they're playing Turn of Seasons. But also, it came into the idea of you had to manage your deck around winter, in terms of when your opponent had winter and when you had winter. It now matches up pretty much. It now matches up with winter, and I don't really like that, I'm going to be honest. I don't like winter matching up because, yes, it does mean like a 1-1 can do 2 damage to a 3-3, it gets the extra 1 damage. But it kind of also nullifies the winter ability. It means it's useless in mirror matches. Not useless, but almost useless in mirror matches. In terms of a 3-3 trading into a 4-4 in winter doesn't make a difference. But when it is a case of they're on winter, I'm not on winter. Like what I'm trying to say is it just felt a little bit like I liked the gap. I liked the gap in the winter. Now these are completely my personal own opinions. I liked the gap in winter. I felt like it allowed me to manage my turns a little bit more. I like the different times of card draw. The kind of being on the same season now isn't something I like, but is it a big change? Not really. Am I going to stop playing Turn of Seasons for it? No. Am I just being a moany, grumpy old git? Probably, yeah. But anyway, so that's the pathways. Now, let's jump into our cards. So, cards not open packs. Haven't got any packs open yet. So, I'm not going to go through every single change. And I'm not going to go through all like everything they've done and my thoughts and everything. I'm going to go through cards that I think were addressed well or ones I didn't like. And this is now an experience of either playing with these cards or playing against these cards. First, I'm going to kick off with Demolition Speedway. Demolition Speedway was a staple in Red Blue Rush. The simple, very simple change here was make it 2 blue gems. That is massive. Okay, that's huge. Because, guys, if you're playing Red Blue Rush, you drop down, you're playing on Pursuit, you drop down Trapezists turn 1. Turn 2, you play Demolition Speedway underneath it, you trade into it, done. Can't do that anymore. Can't do that. You play Trapezists on turn 1, that's a red gem. That means Demolition Speedway now cannot be played until turn 3. That 1 extra turn of stalling out Red Blue Rush is massive. Red Blue Rush got to turn 6, turn 7 without winning, it normally lost. It's just the way it worked. So, that one change out, and this is exactly what I mean when I'm going back to pathways, is they do not over nerf cards. You don't need to over nerf cards. It's a case of balancing cards out. The 1 gem is an absolutely perfect adjustment to this card, and I think it's brilliant. Hats off Rhino. Good job. Next blue card we're going to look at. So I have notes here of my cards, and they're a little bit all over the place. Next card we're going to look at, which was another brilliant change. Hats off, kudos, love you even more, Rhino, is Braggy Runesinger. Now, I will address it quickly. Braggy has lovely golden locks. For those who didn't know, I used to have lovely golden locks. My golden locks have gone. Lots of people asked in the previous video, where's Woody? Where's his golden locks gone? Where's his lovely hair gone? I cut my hair off, obviously. You can see now. Various reasons. I'll keep this very short. One was to donate the hair to charity. It was donated to a charity called Little Princesses, which is all about creating wigs for young girls who are going through chemotherapy. And the other reason was I done it to raise some money. There's a student I teach who, like a sibling, needed some experimental treatment, and they wanted to raise some money. So I basically said, if you raise X amount of money, I'll cut my hair off to increase it. And that's what I've done. So that's why it's gone. Anyway, Braggy, back to missing my golden locks. The big change of Braggy was this one here. Give a minion Frenzy. It used to cost 2 charges, now costs 3 charges. Again, massive. Huge. It basically means Braggy doesn't come out of 1 charge. They don't do this straight away. Turn 2, they can't be putting this on a Jotun. They can't be throwing this on something like a, I don't know, what's it called? Living Mountain or a Hyperborean, okay? They can't be throwing it on cards like that. It is a case of, it is now has to stick around for 3 turns. And it's a lot harder to keep him around for 3 turns. Giving your opponent three turns to deal with Braggy is a lot easier. Again, it's not an over nerf. It's not a kill card. It's like, the card is still very much played. It's still a very good card. It still adds consistency with the shuffling and drawing cards for your deck. Frenzy can still go off. It's still nuts, okay? If you get this here and you're playing enchantments, it's a great ability to get, okay? It's still a very, very good card. And remember, it's still warded. Very good change. Again, kudos. Hats off, Rhino. And the final blue card we're going to look at is Drager, okay? Drager. Now, Drager is a card that was a bit of a meme, shall we say? No one played him. He wasn't very good. Is he good now? I played him the other day, and do you know what? He's not bad. He is not bad at all. He's expensive, and he does cost 3 blue gems. I played him in a green-blue deck that I was playing around with. So now he does overrun. He gets free until the end of the turn when attacking for the first time each turn. Basically meaning he's a 9/9 and he fully heals whenever an enemy minion dies. He is basically oh my god, how have I forgot all my names today? I'm sorry, I've had a really long day. A Fane. He is a Fane on steroids. It's been a very busy day. Apologies, I forgot all the names today. He is a Fane on steroids. He is an absolute beast. I managed to get him out turn 6 because I was playing Collarbock and I managed to get Collarbock out. He came out turn 6 and he's scary. Like, having this guy in the deck with Aiku, with Short Stag, are all big threats. And they come out turn 6, turn 7, turn 8. And it's like, oh, shite, how do I deal with this guy? I can't deal with all... Not many decks can deal with an IQ, can deal with a Short Stag, and can deal with a Drager in one deck. Like, you're asking for 3 big removals there. And this guy heals when a minion dies. And the overrun is just a little bit nuts, okay? I like the fact that they've said when the first time each turn, because something does exist... called Allfather's Horn, which I've seen quite a lot recently. So I'm glad that they've done that. But anyway, this card, it's a nice change. It's a good change. It kind of keeps in with the whole idea of him being like, yeah, he fully heals when an enemy minion dies. It plays into him being like a Fane on steroids. I like the change. I think it's a good change. I think it's I think it can make the card playable in some decks. And that's what you want. You don't want him being an uber powerful, you must play Drager in every single deck. You want it a case of, I'm playing a deck that ramps, I want to play a bit of finish late game blue. Drager's a good card. Simple as that. Simple as that. I like the card. I've played around with it. I'm going to keep playing around with it even more. Again, hats off Rhino. Okay, now moving on to some yellow. Now, I've only got one yellow card I want to speak about here. I know a few were changed, but there's only one I really want to talk about. And if I'm being honest, I didn't like the change. I'm going to be honest, I did not like it. And that was to this guy here, Harvester. Gain 3 life, same as before, but add a 0/3 maze to your hand. Now, what he used to do was he used to draw a card. And I don't feel like that was too powerful. I get, now, the argument here is, oh, well, maze can stay around for longer. Maze can potentially draw you 2 cards. I very much doubt that's the case. You're playing this guy like mid-game at the earliest, more mid to late game. Most people have answers on the board for it to remove a maze straight away, or they have answers in hand just to remove a maze straight away. I just feel like the nerf, I feel like it was more of a nerf than a buff. And it was one that I don't think was needed. Like, no one ever played a Harvester, and I never went, oh my god, they're going to draw a fecking card when I kill this fecking minion. Like, I've never done that. I don't think anyone ever done that. Yellow is a control colour, so drawing cards off demise ability seems organic. Seems like it's the way it should be. I don't like the change to this card. It potentially may... I don't know if it will make me stop playing the card, but I definitely won't be as much of an auto-include in some of my yellow decks as it used to be. I just find it clunky getting another maze in hand. Now, you could burn the maze. You could argue, oh, it's giving me a yellow gem to burn. Maybe, but I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't even know if you can burn the maze. I just said that on the spot. I didn't like this change. I'm going to be completely honest, and I like to be completely honest. Wasn't a fan of this change. I don't think it needed to happen, and I would love to see the reasoning behind it happening. But anyway, I'd like, again, your thoughts. What do you guys think? Harvester? Change, not change? I'd like to know. Now, going on to some red cards, people. We haven't got tons of red cards to speak about. We are talking about 2.5, because one's a duo color card, which we'll speak about at the end. But we're talking about two red cards right now. First, we're going to kick off with Panic Raider. Now, Panic Raider is a one I saw some people, I'm going to use the word bitching about on Discords, about how they thought this was really bad change. How they thought the gets one and you lose 1 life and draw a card. I think it's a really good change. I really do. This card is super powerful. Like, it was auto-include in pretty much any red deck. Is it still an auto-include in most red decks? Yeah, probably. Red is most of the time played as Rush. So most of the time you are playing ahead of the person anyway in terms of life. Most of the time you can afford to give up 1 life to draw a card. Maximum you're giving up is 2 life to draw a card. You look across and you go across to Ifrit, Serendipity Ifrit. I've had games where Ifrit's cost me 4 or 5 life. Have I gone, this card needs to be... No. Because it's a 4/4 that I can get out on turn 3. Like, and it gives me the dividation. I think the lose 1 life is a really nice balance to this card. I don't think it stops it being as powerful as it was. Sorry, the fact that red plays under a lot of stuff anyway, I think it just adds a little bit more. When it gets to late game, it makes it a little bit more complex to play. There's that potential chance when they're like, okay, crap, I'm on 9 life. I play this, I swing through, I put myself on 8 life, and they've got some big overrun minions on the board. Can I do that? And that's where it comes in there. And I think that is fine. As an early game card, 1 damage, you'll take a card draw all day long for 1 damage, okay? I think it's really good. I think it's a good change. I think it's a really good change. You could argue it wasn't needed, but I would say, do you know what? I think it's fine. Rush was not a problem, but Rush was everywhere at one point. And this is a nice way of going, look, Rush is still really powerful. Rush can still wreck decks. But you've got this slight little penalty to playing it now. And I think that's absolutely kudos and absolutely fair. The next change is another change I think is absolutely bang on. And that's Wings of Abaddon. Wings of Abaddon is exact same ability as it used to be. Actually, it's changed. 2 things have changed, sorry. So, it's same ability, but it used to cost you 2 mana. Doesn't cost you 2 mana now. Just sacrifice a minion. But on the flip side of that, it has lost its overrun ability. I think that is genius. Absolutely genius. The overrun of this card used to be so fucking irritating. They would trade it into a 1/1. They wouldn't bother with the immortal ability on it. You take 3 damage to the face. It would clear your chump blocker. They then swing through with a wing, with a wyvern that's on a speedway to do another 5 damage to the face. You've just taken 8 damage to the face with rush minions, and you're just like, what can I do? This adds a bit more of a control element to this deck, to this card, rather than an aggro element. And the control element being, well, do I look to keep this alive? Do I look to keep this threat on the board by expending other minions? Like, by killing other minions, cheap minions, and playing other minions there to block lanes and swinging this in. Being able to do 4 damage to a big minion or a big unit and have Immortal is pretty damn solid. Like, and I think there's a really nice balance. I think the seesaw was perfectly balanced there, where they took away the overrun, but then took away the mana and made it so you can actually sacrifice and swing the same turn, which is cool. Like, it's a nice change. I really like this change. Again, I'd love to know what you guys think to it, but I think it's a nice change. We'll look at the red-blue card, which you probably know what it is by now, at the end. Green, we only have 1 green card to look at. And this is a weird one, because I agree with the change, but I'm slightly annoyed other cards weren't changed. And that is Wake the Bones. Sorry guys, lots of talking is drying my mouth out. But anyway, Wake the Bones, return a minion from the boneyard to your hand. And this time, now it gets ephemeral. Absolutely spot on. It should have always had ephemeral. My issue here is when it comes to Heaven and Back and Stairway to Hades. They still don't give ephemeral. And that annoys me. It annoys me. I get that this is a 1-drop, but you use it once. That is it. You use it once to pull a card back. And it doesn't get any extra abilities, you just get a card back. Stairway to Hades, it gets Frenzy, it becomes a demon, it's fucking nuts. And then to Heaven and Back, it gets 1/1 and it's agile. And it's cheaper. But they don't give Ephemeral. And the reason Ephemeral is so big in this game is because it's another way to tech against big units. It's the reason why I don't think Reanimate is the strongest deck in the game, because I play a lot of green, and having something like Detain Deport is huge. You just go, well, I'm just going to deport your big Living Mountain 12/12 thing you brought out on turn 4, because now it's gone. Bye. It's ephemeral. It's gone. And it's just another way to tech bumping cards back to hand, okay? Or if you're playing orange and the mana cost is low enough, Temptation, swinging with it, and then it doesn't go back to hand, it's dead. So there's lots of tech against ephemeral, which I feel like I feel like Stairway to Hades and Heaven and Back are still missing. Now, they're not overpowered. I wouldn't say they're overpowered enchantments. I think this is a good change. In short of it, I think this is a good change for this card. Giving Ephemeral is great, because otherwise you can get people who replay Short Stag 4 times because they're running 4 of these cards. Every time they replay Short Stag, they'll bring another card back from the fucking graveyard. Like, nuts. But I do think if you're going to give Ephemeral to cards like this, I'm still surprised to not see it on enchantments like Stairway to Hades and to Heaven and Back. That's my personal opinion on that one there. But anyway, let's move on to some, I think, the orange next. Orange. Look at that, eh? Someone knows their cards. Some orange next. And there's only one orange we're going to talk about, okay? Like I said, I know there were tons of cards changed. I don't want to talk about every single one. I'll talk about ones that I think are significant changes. Or ones I like, okay? Resupply Caravan. I think I have to talk about this one. It was a problem before. So, Defender, same as before. Give an adjacent minion a standard action if they are occupying a desert enchantment. I think this is a brilliant adjustment. I don't want to call it enough. It's just an adjustment. This card was nuts. Now, I'll talk about Volition in a second. This card was absolutely nuts. It would come down, adjacent minions. You play someone who plays green a lot. Green orange decks, you drop this down with an IQ and a Short Stag either side, or even a Volkov Heavy and a Short Stag. And you swing. Well, you swing with them anyway. Normally clear your minions. They both got overrun. Play this again. Swing. Bye. It's just like, oh my god. We've all been there. We've all played the OTK decks. And it's just like, it's infuriating. The issue with the OTK decks are there is no way to prep against them. You're playing, you're in a game. You're perfectly balanced in a game. And then in swing of one turn where you cannot react any way whatsoever. You have no opportunity to react. You have no way of reacting. You can lose. And that's the issue with what Resupply Caravan and Volition were bringing. That's why people hated them. Because there was no way, no matter how good a player you are, you could not react to them. This now gives you a chance to set up. You now know, well, wait a minute, Short Stag is sat on an enchantment. I need to be blocking at least 2 minions there, because if they swing once, they may have a Resupply Caravan another time. So it gives you a little bit more of a tell when they're setting up for it, okay? I think it's still a powerful card. If you're playing enchantments, I don't see why you wouldn't play it. Having an extra standard action is kind of nuts anyway. It's a free defender, so it keeps the minion that swang alive anyway, or potentially keeps damage off them because it's a defender. So it's still a strong card. It's nowhere near as powerful as it used to be, and I think that's a good thing. Volition, because I skipped past Volition. Volition, however, is a card that we're going to talk about very quickly. I will be honest. Since the change of 3 mana rather than 2 mana, I haven't seen it as much. I still think this isn't enough, because again, I will stress, when you're even in a game, and then they can still play 2 of these on one turn. They have a twins on the board. I don't know. Twins on the board, okay? Let's just use twins, or a Sapo. Let's use Sapo as an example. Sapo on the board. They swing a Sapo once. It clears a 2/2. They play Volition on it. They swing Sapo again. It now clears a 4/4. Sapo's still alive. They play Volition again on Sapo. Sapo now does 8 damage to the face, and it's still alive. And there was absolutely nothing you could do as a player to interact with that. Okay, Sapo's got a free lane. They swing Sapo once for 8 damage. They play Volition. They swing Sapo again. That's now 16 damage. They play Volition. That's now 24 damage. Chances are you've lost the game. There's no way of interacting with that play, and that's the issue with these cards. And that's where it's hard, okay? Yellow, you don't want to always be playing to try and go against Volition. Now, some people are saying, oh, just add another gem to it. So make it 3 cost 2 yellow gems. That's fine. I honestly think how I would like to see this balance is by giving it a strength cap of 6. So, Volition, give a friendly minion a standard action if their strength is 6 or below. So Sapo could go on it if it didn't kill anything. It could go on cards that like have got the 6 down. It could also then mean you're playing green-yellow. Maybe you even use Detain on one of your own cards to bring its strength down and then swing with it. I don't know, but I just feel like giving a freestyle action to a 24/24 Boneyard is just dumb. It's not fun. It's not the sign of a good player. It's just dumb. It is not being able to deal with that any way whatsoever is just straight up dumb. And I still think Volition, although not a massive problem now, I still think it's a tiny little tweak. But that's me personally. Again, guys, let me know what you think to Volition in comments below. So we move on to we've done green, we've done orange. We move on to the final colour then, purple. Now purple had a shite ton of changes, like a lot of changes in purple. Purple were already, I would say, strong. I wouldn't say they were super strong, but I would say they were strong. They are now pretty tasty, pretty damn tasty. Our cards we're going to look at here, first off, is Mind Freak. This card is nuts. Now, I had a chat in someone's stream the other day who thought it was overrated. Here's why it's not overrated, in my opinion. Look at the enemy player's hand and choose a card. It becomes ephemeral, okay, and its mana cost is increased by 3. If they're not playing green and you put Armageddon Angel to a 10 cost mana, that's not coming out until unless they choose to burn their whole mana bar. Okay, that's it. Armageddon Angel is out of the game unless they get to 10 mana. That's the only way they can play it. Okay. Also, you get insane information off this deck. Okay, you can see exactly what's in the hand. You can start planning your plays around what you've seen in the hand. Playing this on turn 1 or 2 is great. If they've got a 2 or 3 drop, they've got a Serendipity i3 in the hand. They're looking to play it on curve. Turn 3, they've got a 4/4 on the board. They've got the Divination. It's now 6 mana. They're not going to play that card 6 mana. They burn that card. That card's gone from the game. Remember, it has ephemeral. So you stick this on a short stag early game, okay? Now short stag's now 10 mana. Well, if I burn that, I'm never getting short stag back. It's now a decision I've got to make. If I burn that card, it's gone from the game for good. I can't get short stag again, okay? I want short stag if I'm playing green. It allows me to pull a card back from the graveyard, and it allows me to get the overrun, and it can only take 3 damage. It's one of my staple cards for end game. I've got to make a decision. Do I keep this 10 cost mana card in my hand until I can play it, or do I burn it and lose it from the game? I think this card is very, very good. For 1 mana, it is insane. The information you get, the fact of how much you can really mess with your opponent's hand and their play and their mana curve is huge. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a really, really good adjustment to the card. I think it's super strong. When I play purple, I play this card, and I don't ever feel like I shouldn't be playing it. And the next purple we're going to look at, not tons to be honest, we are looking at an enchantment that we're looking at actually 2. We're looking at an enchantment, and then we're looking at another one, which I have not an issue with, but I have concerns about. But the enchantment we are looking at is, I can never find it. It's cheaper than this. It's cheaper than this. It is cheaper than this. Oh no, where's it gone? I've lost the enchantment, people. I have lost the enchantment. The enchantment we're looking for is White Moon Arena. There it is. White Moon Arena. Now, I looked at this card, I went, nah, it's fine. I then played against it, and was like, oh wow, this card is nuts. Cards were coming out for 4/4 extra, 5/5 like at the end of the game, and I was like, and the ability to, it's a 5/5 to then duel and just remove a minion off the board to clear a lane to swing a lantern through or swing a Tarragon through is just like, my god, it's a really good card. Like 1 mana, 4-drop enchantment. I had no idea how good it was until I played against it a couple of times and was like, wow, it's a nice change to it. Purple in general has a lot more versatility to it now, and I like that a lot. I think it's a really nice faction to either play mono, or I think it's a nice faction to sprinkle in for some support. And the change that happened to purple, I think, is super good. And this is just an example of it. It's just making cards like this that I've never even dream of playing. Now, actually, people are playing it, and people are winning games with it, and that's good. That is awesome. Is it overpowered? No. Is it well balanced? Yes. Can it win games? Yes. Is that good card design? Yes. Hats off again, Rhino. However, before we get too excited, let's go to the last card. I want to talk about Master of Shadows. Now, Master of Shadows, I want to be clear here. I don't have a problem with this card. I do not have a problem with this card, okay? So how it changed, guys, was it dropped to a 1/1, but it is immortal and it's deadly. You can't kill it. The only way you get rid of this card is by banishing it from the board, okay? And then also menus created get stealth, and then yeah, it doesn't break. So it's kind of nuts. Now here's my issue with this card, and it's the same issue I kind of had with Volition in some aspects. Now at the moment, there is not a lot of banish cards in the game. Okay. Green, for example, have pretty much... The only way Green can deal with this is one of two ways. One, they play the card that gives it ephemeral, and then they try and bump it back to hand. It's a very cumbersome way of trying to deal with one card. Or they just use Led Astray and throw it back into the deck. Doesn't get rid of it, it just slows it down. Now, here's my issue with this, okay? If you're going to bring a card like this into the game, that can basically remove Short Stags, IQs, can remove Armageddon Angels, can remove Sappos, can remove Twins, can remove anything, barring stuff with big armor, from the game, and cannot be removed, then you need to have counters for it. And I feel like at the moment, the counters in terms of cards that can actually banish are minimal. Okay, if you're playing orange, yes, you have Seal of Exile. It now means you're forcing them to play that Seal of Exile on a mythic card. Now, I get that you're not guaranteed to draw into Master of Shadows every single game, but let's say they do draw into it. You're going to want to deal with it. You're going to want to banish it, okay? If you're only running one Seal of Exile, you need to find that to get rid of this card. Okay? Purple, if you're playing against purple, then you can Metamorphose it. That does get rid of it, or that just does convert it. But really, there isn't a ton of ways of getting rid of this card, and that's where the issue comes in. I think the card's great. I think the card's fine. I think it's one expansion too early, if I'm being honest, and this is my complete honest opinion. I've seen too many card games that have introduced really good cards that people have called toxic or overpowered or disgusting, not because they're toxic, overpowered or disgusting, but purely because games have lacked the resources to counter them, to deal with them. And that's where I think Master of Shadows is going to stand out a little bit this season, is that there's very limited ways of dealing with this card. And that's where that's where they need to be careful and think about the card. How you adjust that, I'm not 100% sure. I have thought about this card a bit. I spoke to Semper about the card. When Semper plays the card, when I play against him with it, when he plays it, I'm not like, oh, fucking hell, I'm fucking playing broken shit. Oh, look. I'm not like that. I'm just like, oh, God, I've got to deal with this, okay? How do I deal with this? It's made me tech some cards. It's made me put 2 Led Astray in the deck. Not just for this card, because Led Astray is good cards, but it's a way of slowing this card down. And it can, especially against green, where you have your big units coming out, and the idea of having your big units out and getting shut down by a 1/1, completely shutting down your late game, is kind of like, this is kind of bullshit. And you almost have no way of dealing with it. And it's just, that's where they've got to be careful. They need to make sure each faction has 1 or 2 tangible ways to tech against something with Immortal. Not just Master of Shadows, because let's be honest, other cards are going to come in a game that are going to have Immortal. That's why I think this is one expansion too early, because Immortal is a card that there's going to be more Immortal cards in the game. We need more counters to Immortal, okay? This, like I said, Volition was disgusting to play against because there was no way of dealing with it. If you're playing a set faction, if you're playing red-green, there's almost no way of dealing with this card. You kind of just suck up and go, unless I draw into my Led Astray, unless I draw into something that is tangibly going to deal with this card, I've got to do it. That's it. I can't tech against it because my factions don't really offer much tech. And you're not going to start running janky shit cards because, or say shit cards, janky cards that just don't fit in with your archetype because of Master of Shadows or because of Immortal. It's just not going to happen. Or it's not worthwhile. That's where my issue with this card comes. In terms of, I think it's just one expansion too early. I think they need more ways of factions dealing with it. I get there's a rock, paper, scissors. I get there's a rock, paper, scissors element of any CCG. Control beats, can potentially beats rush in long game, and mid-range can beat mid-rush, and rush beats control. Like, I get there's this whole cycle, and it's like, oh, well, this faction beats purple, or purple beats the... I get that's a thing. That's a thing in any TCG. However, having a lack to do with a keyword like Immortal, I've seen too many times in card games, can very much call people to calling to nerf the card. Do I think the card needs nerfing? No. Do I think it's slightly early? Yes. That's my only issue with Master of Shadows. And that's going to wrap up the video, guys. That is pretty much my thoughts on the video. So, wrapping up, quick conclusion. The patch, absolutely spot on. I thought it was really nice. The balance changes that came were very thoughtful. They kind of stayed in with the archetypes the cards are already trying to deliver, trying to bring us. It felt nice. The new UI is sexy. The cards have kind of got a nice, slight slicker look to them. The whole opening packs is a lot faster. It's a lot speedier. The game just feels like it's starting to get towards its final destination. And that's great. Like, someone who plays a lot of this game, someone who streams this game, someone who's fully invested in Mythgard as both a streamer, a TCG fan, a CCG fan, a gaming fan, a fan. Like, seeing this game getting more attention from community members, from what you call it, like players, and from the devs, giving the support that they've given it tirelessly, it's amazing. It's amazing, and yeah. So I love the patch. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was a really good patch. Hope you liked the video, guys. I'm sorry it was actually double the time I wanted it to be, but I got through quite a lot. That's my reaction. That's my impressions of what I thought of the patch. Apologies if you're here and you're thinking like, well, you didn't teach us anything. No, this wasn't a teaching lesson. This was just a reaction to the most recent patch. Yeah, and I'd like to know what you guys thought to the video. If you liked the video, let me know. If you do like it, then I'll do some more reactions to patches in the future. If you didn't like it, then hey, this might well be the last patch reaction video I ever do for Mythgard. But until next time, guys, have a great day, morning, evening, whatever it is, where you guys are. And until then, goodbye.